Bonsoir tout le monde. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our regular council meeting of October 4th. Bienvenue à la réunion du Conseil du 4 octobre. We'll start off with roll call. I'll ask members of council to please announce themselves.
Mike Tarnowski, présent.
André Brisson, présent.
Jamie here.
Cindy Sosa here.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Our clerk, Madame Caroline Laflamme, is here.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'm here.
Perfect. And for those who are tuning in this evening, our CAO is not here this evening. Item 2 and 3, la prière puis l'hymne national, on le fait pas quand les réunions sont virtuelles. Item 4, item 4, additions, deletions, or amendments. We will add an item under 18B under for Conseiller Lorrain in regards to a discussion on arena capacity. Anything else for members of council, Tad? Seeing none, hearing none. We'll go with item 5, l'adoption de l'ordre du jour. Motion d'adopter l'ordre du jour tel qu'amendé. I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Tarnowski, seconded by Conseiller Brisson. Call for the vote. All those in favor?
Mike Tarnowski, oui.
André, oui.
Jamie, yes.
Cindy Sosa, yes.
Parfait, merci beaucoup. Item 6, disclosure pecuniary interest. Hearing, seeing none. Move on to item 7, adoption of minutes. Minutes to approve the following minutes as presented. Special council minutes of September 20th, 2021 and the regular council minutes of September 20th, 2021. Need a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Tarnowski, Councillor Saucier. Questions, comments on the minutes? Hearing, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Mike Tarnowski, oui.
André, oui.
Jamie, yes.
Cindy Sosa, yes.
Perfect. It is approved. Thank you. Item 8, presentations. We have none. 9, delegations, petitions. We have none. Item 10, consent items. Motion que tous les documents énumérés sous les points de consentement soient reçus tels que présentés. Which is item A, request for community grants 2021 budget. Item B, minutes of the Accessibility Advisory Committee of June 23rd, 2021. And C, proclamation and flag raising request October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Questions, comments on these items? No, so they'll all be voted in as one. I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Conseiller Lorrain, seconded by Conseiller Brisson. All those in favor?
Mike Tarnowski, oui.
André, oui.
Jamie, yes.
Cindy Sosa, yes.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. On move à numéro 11, rapport des départements et comités du conseil. Le premier, Building and Planning Department Semi-Annual Activity Report, Report PD 52 2021. The council receives report PD 52 2021 dated October 4, 2021. Madame Tremblay, you guys are busy.
Bonsoir, membres du conseil. Oui, on est très occupés, puis je pense qu'on a essayé le plus possible de démontrer les projets sur lesquels on travaille dans le rapport. So I just gonna obviously take the time to go over some of the information that are included in the report. So there's been 17 new development projects requiring site plan control. So just to kind of explain what does that mean is that when we talk about projects that require site plan controls, we're talking about all projects that are non-residential. That means institutional, commercial, or industrial. So those are bigger projects that would require site plan control, and also means residential buildings that are 3 units and more. So we see a lot of activities, and that's where it starts. So the review team meetings, for example, we've seen in that 6 months period, 17 new applications for the review team. So that means those projects are coming. We had consulted with a developer for 4 new subdivisions. So subdivision is the bigger project for residential purposes. So that means a lot more new units are coming as well. You've seen in the report like all the activities that we're going through, but I want to also bring your attention to the building permits application. So in the report, I've also included the tables that we have on our website. So I know that most of the time we have a lot of requests and concerns and comments that are made under the site plan review. So all of the information that it's included in the table of the report where it says application under planning review is all information that are available on the website and that people could consult and request for more plans or more detail on some of the project that we're seeing. So I've included those tables in the report, and as well the building permits. So as you can see, from January 1st to June 30th, from 20 to 21, there's been 59 new extra permits from year to year. So the total in 2020 for the same period was 282, and we are now more than 341, but at the time of the report for the deadline of June 30th, it was 341 building permits. So that's 59 above the previous year. That's obviously increasing the revenues in the building permit as well as the permit value. Mostly the new type of housing that we're seeing a lot more increase, which is 58 more than the previous year, is new single detached dwelling. So the trend is going more as new single than in the last couple of years. We were seeing more semis, more townhouses. So now that those tables are showing you what is mostly the trend of what's selling. The builders are mostly adjusting their plan of subdivision. And what we're seeing now is that they're building more single detached dwelling. Also in the report, I'd included an information that we've been working on for the last couple of years, and we're probably going to see this happen in 2022. We're gathering all the necessary tools to transit into digital workflow model. So basically all the plans review right now for building permit application are done on paper, but now we are going to acquire some software that are going to allow us to do the site plan drawings and do everything digitally. So basically we're going to mark up everything on that PDF file, and it's going to be a lot more structure, and it's going to help us basically transfer the information to the applicant. And basically we'll provide the inspector with the ability to highlight the deficiencies. So it's going to bring some sort of standard in between all building inspector. We're not always using the same terms and stuff like that. So it's going to basically eliminate all the standardize, I would say, all the description in the report. So bring obviously clarity for the client. So we're moving towards a digital system. And it will be better to serve the community and the building permit holder. So we're really excited about this project, and it's something that we're going to keep working on and probably migrate with this kind of project in mid 2022.
Parfait.
So that's the report for the building and planning department.
Merci beaucoup, Madame Tremblay. Questions, commentaires, membres du conseil, Councillor Saucier?
Yeah, I just had a question, Madame Tremblay, and the minor variance under the in the annex that you attached, the appendix, I mean. I just saw there was a few requests to allow storage in the front of buildings. Are we permitting that?
Madame Tremblay?
Like it's open storage?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor. So I've included those annex and appendix because most of the reason is that those reports don't come in front of council. So those minor variance and consent application are 100%, I should not mostly, but all of them are dealt with the planning advisory committee. So just to kind of give an idea to other members of council of what the other application that we're dealing with. When we're talking about the reduced front yard or open storage into the front yard, this is something that we're seeing in the 417 Industrial Park. So we are recommending mostly those applications because the properties are so big that most of the time when we don't allow open storage in the front minimum required front yard, it's because of visibility issue that could create. But because the property are so big, in those instances, we didn't see any problems to allow those reduction into the minimum required front yard.
Okay, merci beaucoup, Madame Tremblay. Conseiller Laurent, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I just wanted to be clear too, that those were for non-residential requests for the front yard storage.
No, I
So-
realize that it's.
Yeah.
But still, I think, it could set a precedent if, they all start having storage in the front, then maybe some of the other businesses, and it may detract from, what it looks like. So that was just my concern.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions, comments? No, thank you very much, Madame Tremblay. Looking at your report, we can see just through the numbers that are being presented, we saw a 20% increase in building permits for that period, but a over 70% increase in the value of those permits. So obviously COVID has had an effect on the building materials in part, but also we're seeing a lot of higher end properties being built, so forth. So it's nice to see the growth in the township, even though it creates growing pains sometimes. It's you guys are handling it fabulously. So thank you very much to you and your team. Next item B, is modification au coût du compteur d'eau pour Limoges, rapport FS 29-2021. Que le Conseil reçoit le rapport FS 29-2021 daté du 4 octobre 2021 et que le règlement proposé soit adopté tel que présenté, modifiant le coût des compteurs d'eau pour les résidents de Limoges résidant dans la municipalité de Russell et recevant leur service d'eau de la municipalité de la Nation. Questions, comments on this report? It's pretty standard, but Councillor Saucier?
Yeah, I just had one quick question. Under 5.17, it said expenses for the repair of water meters is charged to the owner of the premises. I wasn't aware of that.
Okay, we'll get clarification. Who's running with this one, Monsieur Godin?
It's on page 14 of 20.
Okay, thank you.
Oui, merci, Monsieur Maire. Bonsoir, Chambre du Conseil. Yeah, I'm looking it over right now. 5.1, you said?
No, it was 5.17, and it was on page 14 of 20. Like there's.
Right. So all sums charged for expenses incurred for the repair of meters, fixtures,
Yeah.
and all. So I can maybe look into having more details on what that means for you, Councillor Saucier. Essentially, this is a bylaw from the nation. It's not from the actual township. Where we're concerned is from the actual sale of those meters. Russell residents on the Limoges side need to come to the town hall at Russell to buy those. We buy them from the nation, and we kind of just act as an intermediary and send over all the funds that we collect back to the nation. Regarding that 5.17, I'm not sure. I couldn't respond to you right away regarding that, but I can definitely look into what that means and just provide clarity to council.
Yeah, there's no rush. I was just really curious about it because I thought, most people would know what to do to repair them. So I was kind of curious.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Any
Thank you.
other questions or comments? Quelque chose d'autre à ajouter, Monsieur Godin?
Non, merci, Monsieur le Maire.
OK, parfait. On va aller à la prochaine item. Première ébauche du budget 2022. The first draft budget report FS 30 2021. The council receives report FS 30 2021 dated October 4th, 2021 and acknowledges receipt of the first draft of the 2022 budget, which forecasts an overall tax increase of 2.5%, including a 1% increase for the Recreation Complex Reserve, and that further discussions be held at the said budget working day sessions on October 20th and 21st, 2021. Questions, comments at this point in time? Councillor Tarnowski?
I just want to confirm, since we are going to have budget working sessions and so on, you're not expected to answer any specific questions pertaining to why some of the numbers are so different from last year to this year?
No, that'll be really at the budget session where we'll get into those discussions.
Okay, so I'll hold those questions till then. I look forward to it.
Okay, perfect. Feel free to send an email to Monsieur Godin ahead of time if you wish. He might be able to answer those quicker for you. Conseiller Brisson?
Pour les cartables, ça va-tu encore recevoir des cartables? Puis est-ce que c'est nous autres qui va le chercher à la municipalité ou si ça vient nous le livrer?
OK, merci beaucoup. Bonne question.
Quand est-ce qu'on peut les expecter aussi?
Oui, Monsieur Godin?
Merci, M. le maire. Donc, oui, les cartables sont en développement à ce moment, ainsi que les présentations PowerPoint qui vont être vues pendant les sessions du 20 puis le 21. Donc, notre objectif, c'est d'avoir terminé par la fin de la semaine pour pouvoir vous fournir ces documents-là en début de semaine prochaine. On pourrait, oui, on peut définitivement s'organiser pour vous les livrer ou si vous avez une planification de venir à l'hôtel de ville, de les garder pour vous. On communiquera avec vous directement par rapport à cette question-là. Donc, ces deux documents-là, le cartable ainsi que la présentation PowerPoint qu'on va revoir ensemble aux sessions budgétaires, là, ils vont être disponibles pour vous en début de semaine prochaine.
Parfait, merci beaucoup. Councillor Lorrain?
Just a quick confirmation. So in the history, reference, and support, you've got the average household of $346,000 in assessment. We'll see a tax increase of about $44.53. If I just divide that by 2.5, that gets me the 1% amount, which is $17.81.
That's correct.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Any other questions? If not, we'll move on to the next item. Item D, modification à la politique d'achat, rapport FS 31-2021. Que le Conseil reçoit le rapport FS 31-2021 daté du 4 octobre 2021 et approuve l'amendement du règlement de la politique d'achat 2019-85. Questions, comments, members of council? Councillor Tarnowski?
Right, so I'm just looking for some clarification just to make sure that I understand it properly. So I want to be sure I understand when we agree on a purchase policy called approval of, when we say approval of the RFP, we mean approving the winning proposal and awarding the contract. Is that correct?
Mr.
It's just the wording there, yeah.
That's correct. So yeah, by approving this report, that would authorize staff or the CEO more precisely to approve a contract, to award a contract following an RFP to value up to $150,000.
Okay, so yeah, sorry.
Yep.
If go ahead.
I was just going to add, as long as that was approved in the budget by council.
That's correct.
But
go ahead, Councillor Tarnowski.
So again, I just want to, so when RFP stands for
request for proposal.
That's correct. So the request for proposal policy is like to start the request for proposal. So that's where I'm getting a little confused in the wording. The way the wording goes through that policy, it kind of tells me that I'm allowing them to request to do the request for proposal, but not necessarily to approve it. Okay, Monsieur Godin.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor. So I see what you mean, Councilor Tarnowski. So the wording in the report, I see the way you're interpreting it. And just to clarify, what we're saying here is we're increasing the value that we can of the contract that can be approved, not the actually going into RFP or
okay. Okay, so that's good. And I have one follow-up, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
And does the dollar value for approving the RFP fall in line with other municipalities, like the change that we're putting in?
Good question, Mr. Godin. Not sure if you have the answer. I think it depends on which municipality you compare yourself to.
Right, through Mr. Mayor, so I'm just not sure I understood the question correctly. So you're asking comparable to other municipalities?
Yeah, yes. So we're asking to go up to 150K. Mm-hmm. And we're also going through a process where we're going to have a new CAO. So I just want to know that this is a standard across multiple municipalities.
I don't think, Mr. Godin, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think there's a standard. Obviously, every municipality is different. You know, for us, it could be 150,000. For the city of Ottawa, it could be 1.5 million. I think it's in relation to the size of the municipality. But Monsieur Godin, anything to add?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through you. So I don't. So no, I don't have any standard of comparison. I see Mr. Bourgon opening his camera. Maybe he has something to add. What I can say is, from my understanding with discussions with Mr. Bourgon, is that contracts that we've been awarding earlier on at a value underneath 85,000 with inflation and with the cost of living having a big hike lately are now regularly going over $150,000. But I'll let Monsieur Bourgon add information.
Perfect. Thank you, Monsieur Godin. Monsieur Bourgon.
Merci, Monsieur le maire. Merci, Monsieur Godin. So, effectivement, dans les derniers RFP que nous avons faits, le montant excède souvent 85 000 $, mais se retrouve plus près de 150 000 $. Those amounts are in the budget, so that's why we're coming in front of council asking to increase that limit, as long as it's it's already included in our budget. Just to save some time. I'm just as an example, tonight council may be approving an RFP for the level of service review. Well, it's really time sensitive because of our grant. So if we don't need to come in front of council, if it's included in the budget, well, it just makes our project or the timeline a bit faster as well.
Right, because obviously this is when these reports are coming back to council, we've already approved it. It's a redundancy, if you will. We're approving it a second time. Monsieur Godin?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I just wanted to add to that as well. We're not eliminating the transparency of it. Every contract that's over $25,000 is reported to council. It would just be done after the fact, not before the awarding.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect, thank you. Conseiller Lorrain, you had something to add?
Yeah, I think I found the information, but I guess and the explanation that Monsieur Godin, Monsieur Bourgon just gave. I guess the question only becomes is, what is the timing delays? I mean, we have council meetings every 2 weeks, essentially, or twice a month. So, and we can call it a special meeting of council if needed, but I guess for the small amount there, relatively speaking, to go from 85 to 150 based on the increased cost of construction these days, I guess I can understand that a bit. I'm a little hesitant though. I'll have to be honest with you. It's a lot of delegation of authority, and we've done that a lot over the last few years. So this one's going to be tough. I mean, 150,000 is, and I know we've already approved it in the budget, but again, it's the transparency process of getting in front of council and seeing I'm assuming there's multiple bids that come in, and is there practice of we always choose the lowest bid, or is it, I guess, there's other questions that come into play, and whether or not, we decide council would have wanted to decide to go with a different bid. So I guess where does that fit into all that?
Yeah, well, I think that if the administration was put in a position where the lowest bid wasn't necessarily the bid that they would like to go with, they would be coming back to council to advise us and bring that report. I think that would be standard practice, Monsieur Godin and Monsieur Bourgon. If ever there was a deviation from what's the lowest bid and what the recommendation of the administration would be.
Through Ms. Mayor, I would say so. I mean, and we have done that in the past as well for contracts that can be lower than $85,000. We do know that the price of the bid is oftentimes has a heavy ponderation on the evaluation. So if we do make the judgment call that we should be recommending a different bid, we'll oftentimes come to council regardless of the level of authority.
Okay, merci. D'autres questions, commentaires, Monsieur Bourgon?
Merci, Monsieur Maire. I was gonna add that's all, what we're asking council tonight only applies to RFP. So that's the process that's based on scoring more than on the pricing itself. Pricing is only a portion of the points allowed. And also in our policy currently, the CAO can approve a tender, so a construction project up to 275,000. So it's really for the portion that we'll see more for a consultant or engineering firms or those type of works that we're asking to adjust according to what we've seen, the increase that we've seen in the last year and a half or almost 2 years.
Okay, merci beaucoup, Monsieur Bourgon. Councillor Tarnowski?
I'd like to pull this item, please.
Yep. Okay. If there's no further questions, we'll move on to the next item. Item E, Economic Development Semi-Annual Activity Report, Report EcoDev 05-2021. The council receives report EcoDev 05-2021 dated October 4th, 2021. Madame Tremblay.
Yeah, so if you allow me, I'll go just over a brief resume of this report as well, if that's okay with you.
Oui.
All right, so pendant l'année de COVID, il y a eu beaucoup de pushback, pas de pushback, je vais utiliser un autre mot, mais les entreprises ont été très affectées par le COVID. 2021 a été un petit peu mieux, mais on a profité de l'occasion dans ce rapport de juste vraiment présenter les événements, les choses, les programmes de support qu'on a pu justement offrir à nos entreprises pour les aider un petit peu dans les années qui viennent de passer. Donc, dans la première partie du rapport, vous pouvez voir les initiatives qui ont été faites au niveau du département de janvier à septembre de 2021. Une des grandes choses qu'on a faites au niveau du Shop Local Campaign, on était, je ne sais pas si certains membres du conseil ont vu, la municipalité a été un sponsor du Russell Community Market. Donc, au niveau du développement économique, on a fait un partenariat avec le marché communautaire de Russell. Donc, les sacs promotionnels pour le Community Market ont été subventionnés par la municipalité de Russell dans le cadre de notre programme de Shop Local Campaign. We did about 11 different posts that reached over 27,000 people. One of those were the support local checklist. We had a headshot campaign, so I don't know if members of council saw, but we did reach out to all the businesses and had the pictures of the owners of each businesses that were part of the program. And we did a list of restaurants as well, updated our list and make sure that people would know where to order food in those COVID time. So in the report, you see the bags that were provided for the market community of Russell. In September, we've brought a report to council for the parklets. So as you know, in September, those parklets were installed. The one is in Embrun and Russell as well. We also did a survey that is available for the public to give us their feedback. Right now, the survey is open until November 1st. So far, the feedback is extremely positive on both of them. So if the pilot project is well received by the community, we'll bring a report back to council as previously mentioned in our previous report, and to make this program as a permanent program. And if it's approved, then we'll work with interested local businesses who wish to install the parklet patio in close to their or proximity to their restaurant or their businesses. So in the report, you could see the parklet. They are used and people really enjoyed them. For the grants, so we applied for 2 grants, one for the parklet program, and we're still waiting for an answer on those ones. So if we were successful for this grant, we would install a bench and extra furniture on the parklets. And we also applied for the RED program to update our promotional tools, such as the community profile and videos. For the business support, so we have our CIP, as you know. So we originally have our CIP for the village core, and late last year, we approved the CIP for the business park and the industrial park. So in the report, you have a list of the companies and businesses that were awarded amounts of money. So the one in the 417 in the industrial park and the business park is really successful, which is really great. And we're giving away a lot of money, so it's pretty exciting. And we see the result driving in Embrun and Russell. So you see the companies that were awarded money, for example, for redoing their facade. So it's really exciting.
Perfect.
Just for the industrial park, so just to conclude on the businesses that we had meeting with and the ones that bought property for us. So just want to confirm that the 60-acre that we had is completely sold, so we're sold out. We bought extra land, so we're working towards making sure that this extra land is designated in the official plan of the Township of Russell and as well for the United Counties so that we could start selling more land in the future. And we had a webinar with the Ministry of EcoDev, Job Creation and Trade to explain. So we're pretty excited about that one too. So it's a program that we had somebody from the ministry and come to meet the businesses that were planning to expand or invest in new equipment. And following that meeting, we have Beauroc in the 417 Industrial Park that was awarded 1.8 million of that grant money. So that's pretty exciting as well. So we see that our work is paying off. And we hosted Valley Eats. It's a company that is offering, it's comparable to Uber Eats, and they want to come in the Township of Russell. So we had a webinar with our restaurant owners a couple months ago and to see if they had interest in moving towards the kind of ordering online and having a third-party company deliver the food. And so we're moving forward with this company, trying to see if there's more restaurant that would be interested in going forward with that program. That's about it. So we're working towards being proactive with our businesses, and I think this is a report. It's a great opportunity for us to show that we're helping them and we have a good relationship with our businesses. And just to give you a heads up as well, we're continuing our business profile. So on our website, we have all our business profile that are done monthly, and they're pretty interesting as well. So if you want to look at them, they're on our website every month.
Thank you very much, Madame Tremblay. Question, commentaire, Conseiller Brisson, Councillor Tarnowski, and Councillor Saucier.
Yeah, it was with the accessibility committee, since we're talking about the CIP program. I know that you were contacted, and there's a section on the CIP program for accessibility, like for entrance, for doors and things like that. So that's why it was asked at the committee if we can check why there's not more company that are using this grant to make it accessible for the partners, and if there's any lack in it, if it can be improved. But I think with the committee said it would be a good promotion to make that the CIP can be used to make it accessible.
Merci beaucoup, Conseiller Brisson. Commentaire ou Madame Tremblay?
Yeah, so the person responsible for the accessibility committee did reach us to us asking if there was a program. So there's already in the CIP a program that allowed businesses to apply if they wanted to increase accessibility to their site and businesses, and there's an amount of money associated to the work being done. We have been promoting that program since 2017, I would say. We've gave all the program to all the businesses by mail, by email. So I'm pretty shocked that, again, and we had that discussion at budget time, that businesses are not, it's starting to kind of pick up. But there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and the amount for accessibility, I believe, is $2,000. So usually the business would have to put a lot more money to get that $2,000. However, the one for the Village Core, which is the one that does have the program with the accessibility, is due to be revisited because it's been 5 years. So we'll bring a report to council shortly. And if council wish, they could increase the amount that would be available for that program specifically at that time.
Okay, merci, Madame Tremblay. I think as well, because it's specifically for the outside, a business owner could invest money to make it accessible, but that doesn't automatically mean his business is accessible inside, right? So I think that if a business wants to make the outside accessible, it's because he has a potential to do it inside, and that's not evident with every business we have. But definitely, we'll be able to have that discussion when that is being reviewed. Merci, Conseiller Brisson. Councillor Tarnowski.
Thank you. I have 3 points I'd like to make. So first of all, I was really excited to see in the report that 417 Bus Lines is looking at providing a private service. So that's, I think, great news for the community, and I think it hopefully, depending on what comes out of that, it demonstrates that it's nice to have the private industry kind of take that service on. So I'm really happy to see that. So that's great. I wanted to congratulate you and the whole team on the continued efforts on the industrial park developments. 500 to 800 jobs is amazing. 800K in added municipal taxes, helping improve our tax revenue mix, which I think is always been a challenge. So that's amazing. Congrats to the whole department. I wanted to, you talked about the parklets. You said that extremely positive feedback. Are we going to get a report like this? So you're doing a survey, but it's like more or less whoever's interested in providing like feedback on the survey. I'd be interested in knowing like what you mean by extremely positive feedback. Is it like a couple of people that said, "Oh, it's really nice to sit down there," or like, is it a meaningful kind of feedback where we can kind of really gauge the value of that versus the cost that was spent?
Okay, merci beaucoup, Madame Tremblay.
Yeah, so when I were referring to the positive feedback is mostly emails that we received, so it's not associated with mostly with the survey, but the survey has a good question in a sense that yes, we're going to be able to really see if it's really positive or negative, and the intention is to bring back those feedback to council so that we could decide if we want to move forward with a bigger program and not having just as a pilot project for the years to come. So for example, we have a question in the survey that would say if the resident feels that it's something that they really want to move forward or they don't see the benefit of it compared to the cost and stuff like that. So we did add a specific question in the survey that, and yes, the intention is to bring those results back to members of council so that we decide to move forward with the overall project, or we just keep those two and that's it.
Formidable, merci beaucoup.
Parfait, merci. Next was Councillor Saucier, and then we'll go to Conseiller Brisson.
Okay, merci. Just great ideas, and I just find it all really exciting, and I love to see what you're doing to support the businesses. I love the promotional video and the bags and everything, so congratulations on all of that. The one, I've been hearing lots of positive things about the parklet, but the one thing that somebody brought up, which I thought was good, was perhaps we could have some kind of garbage receptacle near it, because you know, people sit there and then they get up and leave their garbage, unfortunately. And so you know, either I don't know if it can be attached to it or beside it or something like that, but that was just the only suggestion that I heard. But other than that, it was all positive. And just the question I had is, and it's wonderful that the industrial park is so full, but you were looking at getting another sign also for the industrial park. And can you remind me just what the cost of that was, or ballpark even?
Madame Tremblay.
So the existing sign was about 80,000. The new sign is something that we add up in the budget of this year, so we'll have that discussion at budget time. But just to with the sponsorship program that we have going forward with the existing sign, the sign will be paid off this year. So we're going to make money this year, mid-June 2022 about. So the sign is full, so that's why when this sign was installed, I think Mr. Tarnowski, believe made the comment that we should look at having another one. So that's why we're kind of investigating to have a second one for the 417 somewhere else.
At a different location.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Well, good job on everything. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Conseiller Brisson?
C'était juste quand tu as mentionné, Dominique, pour le survey pour les parklets, puis elle disait comme voir si c'était avantageux. Est-ce qu'il y a eu pour l'argent que ça a coûté? Est-ce que c'est marqué dans le survey à combien que ça a coûté pour que les citoyens le sachent, parce que sans qu'il y ait suivi?
Madame Tremblay?
Through Mr. Mayor. Non, on n'a pas mentionné le prix de combien ça a coûté. La raison première pourquoi on n'a pas mentionné le prix, c'est que si on va de l'avant avec ce programme-là, c'est pas nous qui va payer les prochains, ça va être les entreprises qui vont décider. S'ils décident d'aller de l'avant, nous, la municipalité, ce qu'on va faire, c'est qu'on va juste commander toutes les parquettes en même temps, puis on va s'assurer qu'ils sont tous uniformes. Puis de cette façon-là, on va être capable de garder le coût plus bas possible. Donc, le seul investissement que la municipalité va avoir fait, c'est d'avoir acheté ces 2 parquettes-là. Les autres, à moins que la municipalité décide d'en mettre ailleurs, d'en acheter du surplus éventuellement, mais si on décide d'aller de l'avant, c'est les entreprises elles-mêmes qui vont payer. Donc, le but du programme, c'est d'avoir un projet pilote, que les entreprises voient qu'est-ce que les parquettes ont l'air, comment les gens les utilisent. Puis après ça, les entreprises pourraient décider d'en acheter, vont passer à travers la municipalité, puis nous, on va les commander, just to make sure that it's all the same and the cost is being as low as possible for the businesses.
Okay, thank you very much, Madame Tremblay. And I don't think it's standard practice in our surveys. If we started attaching a dollar value to all our surveys, probably most people would do the survey and say, don't spend any money anywhere. So I think that it's like Madame Tremblay said, it's a pilot project. We'll see where it goes, and we'll wait to see where it goes with that report. Thank you very much, Madame Tremblay. Next item, le service level of service review report FS 32 2021. The council receives report FS 32 2021 dated October 4, 2021. And accepts the bid received from KPMG to conduct a level of service review exercise. Questions, comments, members of council? Conseiller Brisson?
Juste mentionner qu'en français, E et F ont été inversés.
OK, c'est bon.
Parce que E est à révision comme c'est là, puis ça fait que c'est juste mentionner que ça, E et F est à l'envers.
OK, parfait.
Parce que si on en retrait des items, 10, c'est en anglais, là, la version anglaise.
OK. Oui, ben à la fin de la journée, le document, c'est tout le temps celui en anglais et le document officiel.
OK, c'est bon.
Any other questions, comments? Councillor Tarnowski?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So first of all, it's exciting to see this move forward, and so I'm very supportive of it. I did not find in there an estimated timeline once we approve a proposal to actually complete the service review. Is there any insight on that?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Monsieur Godin, but the reference that we're making earlier is the January 31st deadline that this has to be completed by then, correct?
That's correct, Mr. Mayor. So it's through a grant, the Municipal Modernization Program, and we do have some strict deadlines to meet, which would be the end of January for the delivery of this report.
Okay, perfect. That was the example I think you were making reference to this evening, that if this had been changed in the purchasing policy, we could have given the contract earlier and had it approved right away.
This would be an example, yes.
Okay, perfect. Follow-up, Councillor Tarnowski?
Yeah, thank you. So this proposal is able to meet that deadline.
Through Ms. Mayor, so yes, so the deadlines and the timelines were clearly indicated in the RFP, and yes, they did mention that they can deliver.
Merci.
Parfait, merci beaucoup. D'autres questions, commentaires? Anything to add, Monsieur Godin?
Non, merci, Monsieur Maire.
OK, parfait, merci. Prochain item G, plan d'action du changement climatique, rapport ISPW 18-2021. Que le Conseil reçoit le rapport ISPW 18-2021 du 4 octobre 2021 et adopte la résolution ci-jointe afin de joindre FCM partenaire dans la protection du climat. Questions, comments, members of council? It's pretty self-explanatory. Monsieur Bourgon, anything to add?
Merci, Monsieur le maire. Donc, cet item est pour nous aider à avoir plus d'outils pour pouvoir compléter le plan d'action et ensuite pouvoir le présenter au conseil là, par la suite. Donc, c'est quand même un sujet qui est de l'heure au Canada. Donc, on n'a pas besoin de réinventer la roue dans ce cas-ci. Donc, on va essayer d'utiliser les ressources qui nous est accessibles là, par les différentes associations.
Parfait. Merci beaucoup, M. Bourgon. See no questions, no comments. We'll move on to the next item. Item H, Community Fridge Program, Report PR 21-2021. The Council receives Report PR 21-2021 dated October 4, 2021, and approves and endorses a grant received in the amount of $3,750 for the Community Fridge Program from the Prescott Russell Community Innovation Grant. Questions, comments, members of Council? This is a fun, good news story. Madame Guitard, anything to add?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, it was to after Mr. Mayor's suggestion to let us know about this grant that was available back in August, and we did apply for it, and we fortunately received $3,750, which will mainly go to the purchase of a fridge/freezer to be installed between the vestibule at the sports dome. And we've already started working a partnership with the Rotary Club in Hawkesbury, who are willing to supply us with frozen meals. And those meals are prepared by a caterer that is certified by the health office. So that's why we would be able to put these meals in the freezer. And the other section would be for non-perishable items that people could just drop in. There will be more details to work out in the next few weeks. I just wanted to inform council tonight of this new action from Parks and Rec, and I think we have a lot of people that are in need in our community, and I think it's going to be a good thing that anyone can just drop in, pick out something in the fridge or the freezer, and nobody needs to know about it. It's going to be a little bit more private than if we would install the fridge or the freezer in, let's say, the arena lobby, because then everybody sees you. Instead, the dome, well, you just come in, you open the door, you take whatever you need, and then you leave. Of course, there will be some control done on that. And we're also working with Hinting Bird in Ottawa that already has a community fridge program. So we're getting some feedback from them just to, get some suggestions on how to work our program. So we're quite happy with this. Like I said, it's a project, and hopefully it's going to work. And maybe there will be things that we'll have to fine tune at one point. But this is where we are right now. So. We're happy with this one.
Thank you very much, Madame Guitard, and thank you very much to you for putting this grant application by so fast. Essentially, it was I was invited to a session to sit in on this session, and they gave, I think it was two weeks to put a grant proposal in. So it was very time sensitive how fast we could actually apply, and obviously being in the middle of summertime didn't help much. Matters too much. Councillor Tarnowski and Councillor Saucier.
Thank you. Yeah, excellent program. Glad to see us moving forward on that. I wanted to ask quickly about the Rotary in Hawkesbury. Are they selling these frozen meals to us at a lower price? Is that a donation? Like they just support?
Madame Guitard.
Thank you, Mr. Member, members of council. Yes, it's a donation because they are funded to make those meals. So they offered us to work a partnership with them. They even bring the meals to us. So it's a great partnership, a great initiative from them.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Thank you. Councillor Saucier.
Well, that kind of answers my question, because at first I was going to ask, had we approached some local businesses that do this kind of thing, and there are. For instance, the community garden that's happening right now, which has been, the food has been used for the food bank and also for, places like women's shelters and things like that. So they have an abundance of food that you can barely harvest and daily. So, I just wondered if we had looked into some of the local resources that we had. So, but if they're gonna supply it free, then that's great.
Yeah, and just to be clear, the community fridge, the concept behind the community fridge is that basically anybody can go drop off food as long as it meets a certain criteria. You know, they just open the door, drop it in, and away they go. And then somebody who's in need can go there, take what they need. And, you know, it's really a smooth, non-invasive process, if you will. And obviously that'll be the information once it's up and running, we'll share with the food bank so they can share it with all their clients as well.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you. Conseiller Brisson?
So we understand that fridge will have two compartments, one that is freezer and one that is just like a fridge.
Madame Guittard?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Yes, that's right. I want like one side freezer and one side fridge. So we'll be able to receive those frozen meals from the club in Hawkesbury.
Okay.
Parfait. Any other questions? Hearing none, seeing none. Merci beaucoup, Madame Guittard.
Thank you.
Prochain item, item I, code de conduite des membres du conseil et politique sur les liens entre les membres du conseil et le personnel, le rapport CL 09-2021. The council members provide, the council receives report CL 09-2021 dated October 4th, 2021, and that council members provide the proposed amendments in writing to the clerk by October 25th, 2021. And that the clerk be directed to prepare and bring back the amending bylaw for the council code of conduct and council staff relations policy, if any, for council consideration at a regular council meeting in November or December. Questions, comments, members of the council? It's basically we're being asked to review those two documents and provide feedback to the clerk by October 25th if we want to make suggestions to it. C'est essentiellement ça, Madame Camré-Laflamme?
Oui, Monsieur le maire, c'est exactement ça. C'est juste pour ouvrir la révision puis commencer le processus.
Parfait. If there's no questions on that, then we'll move on to the next item. Item 12, reports from an investigator or the ombudsman. We have none. Item 13, notice of motions. We have none. Item 14, question period on meeting of the day. Just remind individuals who are watching, if you have questions on the agenda of the day, to please type in your name and your address to make sure that your question is addressed. First question we have is Mr. Charles Armstrong, 85 Castlebow Street. Item 11E, if 417 bus line wishes to start a private transit service, will the existing transit bylaw be repealed or substantially modified as the bylaw ended the previous private services? Madame Tremblay, I think there is changes that would need to happen to the bylaw itself, correct?
Yes, you're correct, Mr. Mayor. So we're working on that bylaw, so it will be presented in November.
Okay, parfait. Merci beaucoup. Mr. Armstrong, 85 Castlebow Street, in regards to item 11H, who and how is quality control on the donated items done, such as best by dates? Madame Guittard, again, you're going to be bringing back for the community fridge the process, and that information will be included. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Someone wrote in an anonymous question. Just a reminder, you need to state your name and your address for the record. Anonymous questions are not made as part of the record, so I'll give you a moment to type in your name and your address if you would like our question discussed. I can see that the topic is going to be discussed under item 18B, which is Councillor Lorrain requested this discussion. So we will, not seeing a name there, we'll have the further discussion at that point in time. There's no further questions. We will move on. Item 15, resolutions. Motion that council approves all recommendations listed on the agenda under item number 11, reports from departments, council committees. Need a mover and a seconder to put it on the table, and then we'll remove an item that was requested. So moved by Conseiller Brisson, seconded by Councillor Tarnowski. There was a request to remove item D. So I need a mover and a seconder to remove item D. Councillor Tarnowski, do we have a seconder to remove item D? Councillor Saucier? Okay, I'll call the vote on removing item D. All those in favor of removing item D?
Mike Tarnowski, yes.
André, oui.
Jamie, yes.
Cindy Sosa, yes.
Okay, so item D is removed. Any others that you guys want removed while we're doing this? If not, we'll vote on everything except item D. Seeing, hearing none, I'll call for the vote.
Pierre, je faisais juste demander, fallait-tu avoir quelqu'un pour l'amener sur la table pour la résolution pour commencer?
Oui, on a eu quelqu'un pour le mettre sur la table.
Non, mais pour le faire enlever, mais pour amener tous les items.
Madame Cameron-Laflamme, did I miss the mover and the seconder?
Nope, the mover seconder was Councillor Brisson and Councillor Tarnowski to put it on the table.
To put it on the table, and then we removed item D, c'est ça?
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay, perfect. So it is on the table, so everything except item D. So I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Mike Tarnowski, oui.
André, oui.
Jamie, yes.
Cindy Sosa, yes.
Perfect, thank you very much. So everything else is carried. We will move on to item D, amendment to the purchasing policy report FS 31 2021. The council receives report FS 31 2021 dated October 4th 2021 and approves a proposed bylaw to amend the purchasing bylaw policy bylaw 2019-085. Need a mover and a seconder to put on the table, please. Moved by Councillor Tarnowski, seconded by Conseiller Larin. Questions, comments, amendments? Councillor Tarnowski.
So just for discussion purposes, given our current situation, I'd propose to either lower that amount to a smaller amount or have some sort of review with similar sized townships to see what the policy is in similar sized townships.
Okay, thank you very much, Councillor Tarnowski. Monsieur Godin, is it standard practice to evaluate all our policies in regards to finance and base it on other townships? Do we do that as a standard practice?
Through Ms. Mayor, so we do that for some policies. I guess it depends on the scenarios. I agree with Councillor Tarnowski. It would be appropriate, I think, to do it this for this case here. I have looked up a few of the policies from other municipalities in Prescott Russell. I'm not comfortable to voice my opinion on those right now because it's basically a quick search I've done. Are they in effect right now or not? I see that some of them date from 2015 and 2016. But it's information that we could easily gather if that would make council more comfortable in making this decision.
Okay, so if council, we have a few possibilities here. Either we make an amendment and make some changes, or we simply defer it to our next council meeting and give 2 weeks to Monsieur Godin to do some research for us. Councillor Tarnowski?
Yeah, I would propose to defer, and then we can get some additional information, and I would feel more comfortable having that kind of due diligence on this change. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So we have a mover to defer to the next meeting, Councillor Tarnowski?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so we have a seconder for that one. Seconded, Conseiller Brisson. Any discussions on that item? On that to defer? No, I'll call for the vote then.
Mike Tarnowski, yes.
André, oui.
Jamie, yes.
Cindy Sosa, yes.
Okay, so it is deferred to the next meeting in October. That does it for all the resolutions, bylaws. Motion that council approves bylaws 2021-093 to 2021-094 inclusively for first, second, and third reading as listed on the agenda. Just to make sure though, Madame Cameron-Laflamme, 2021-94 was what we just deferred, is that correct?
Yes, so we would need to amend it just to say that we're removing the second bylaw.
Okay, so I need a mover and a seconder to put it on the table. Moved by Conseiller Larin, second by Councillor Tarnowski. Need an amendment to remove 094, moved by Conseiller Brisson, seconded by Conseiller Tarnowski. All in favor of removing 2021-094?
Mike Tarnowski, yes.
André, oui.
Jamie, yes.
Cindy Sosa, yes.
Perfect. Thank you very much. That is removed. So now we're voting to approve 093. All those in favor?
Mike Ternosky, yes.
Andre, oui.
Jamie, yes.
Cindy Sosa, yes.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Item 17, new business reports. We have none. Item 18, other business. Item A, myself, maintenance agreement update. Madame Tremblay, in regards to the property that we own near the roundabout, council had given approval to clear cut everything. However, we did give direction for the maintenance contract to work with the commercial developer who's going to be taking over the maintenance of that property, if we could save a few trees. So I'm just looking to see if there was any progress on that.
Yes, there was. So after council's decision, we did require some assistance from South Nation to kind of evaluate the scenario. We've also shared a maintenance agreement with the proponent of the commercial project so that he's aware of what we were proposing for him to be responsible, because initially in the maintenance agreement, we were clear cutting everything. So the maintenance would be different if we were to keep some trees. So after discussion with South Nation, and they did two site visit, one when there was just the trunk of the trees, and one once it was like fully with the leaves and everything. And after those two visits, they provided us with a proposed plan to keep some of the trees that were supposed to be cut originally. So we've had shared that plan with the proponent. The proponent accepted the proposal from South Nation. So therefore, we had to amend the maintenance agreement to reflect that we were keeping some of the trees in the old bike path. So that's what the status of this right now. So there's no contract that was awarded yet to cut the remaining of the trees and keep the ones that were identified on the plan by South Nation. And the maintenance agreement is still not signed by the proponent. It was reviewed by him. He agreed. So basically, it's just a question of time and technicality.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Madame Tremblay. Conseil Brisson?
Just wanted to know, what about the section that is owned by the United Counties that is just on the other side of the ditch up to the roundabout?
Madame.
Were they evaluated for the trees at the same time, and it was United Counties contacted?
Madame Tremblay.
So we're at the stage now of circulating that plan as well to the counties. There's not a lot of trees that are affected that are on the county-owned property that would be affected. So yes, we will consult with the county prior moving forward with the plan.
Okay, merci beaucoup. Any other questions? Okay, if not, we'll move on to the next item, 18B, Conseiller Lorrain, in regards to arena capacity.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So over the weekend, I became aware of a grassroots petition, if you will, in Russell in particular, regarding capacity at the Russell Arena. And, you know, I mean, we have two arenas in our municipality, so it would be affecting more than likely both arenas. And there was some clarification that was being asked. And then we all got tagged into a discussion. So having already sent an email off to staff over the weekend, and I felt it was more important to get us to speak about it here tonight than to get into discussions on social media. So what I asked staff was, what policy or what direction are we using to determine capacity for spectators in our recreation facilities, specifically the two arenas? I had a discussion with Madame Guital a little bit earlier today. I know she was going to find out a little bit more information and provide it this evening. But I'll let Madame Guital speak to it in terms of how we are determining capacity numbers and what guidelines we are following, and whether this is a municipal decision to, in terms of the capacity, or whether we're following either health unit or provincial guidelines for that capacity. So.
Okay, thank you very much. Madame Guital.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. We are aware that this decision is not popular, if I can use the word, but it starts with mostly the legal capacity and then the distancing of the 2 meters. So in order to calculate our total capacity, we did ask the building department to help us with that. So what we do is we take the measurement of the whole building, square meter, and because you're talking about bleachers, we divide it by 0.6. So basically, at the Russell Arena, you have 166.67 legal capacity under normal situation, or normal times, if you can say, that we could have people inside the arena. So for that other part, we know that the province was allowing 50% of that legal capacity, which would be 83 people. But where we have an issue in Russell is the distancing of the 6 feet / 2 meters. So you have to remember that you need to keep 6 feet all around the person, not only in front, not only on the sides, but all around you. So this is where we get into issues at Russell Arena. First, because we have bleachers only on one side, and one end of the arena cannot be used because this is where the Zamboni door is, and etc. So that's, you don't have people there. So basically you can use one side where the bleachers are and the other end where you have those windows. So this is where the 25 people comes from, because you take your total dimension, which is 100 square meters divided by 4 meters. That is the calculation that the health office provided us. So that gives you the 25 people. Unfortunately, yes, there are other ruling for designated seating, which we do not have. When you say designated seating for the health office, this means separate seats, like you have in Casselman, Hawkesbury, and the Rockland Academy. Unfortunately, we do not have that. We just have like a bench, a common bench for everybody. So we cannot use that as designated seating. And really in Russell, it's 25 people. We did increase it to 35. So we do allow 35 people in Russell, because we said, you know what, if we, at the end, we can squeeze in a little bit more people and still respect the 6 feet. Until that 6 feet is taken out, I'm not sure how we're going to work this out, because we are stuck with that. And we have the issue at the bowling alley and all our halls with that 6 feet. We still need to respect that. That's a provincial ruling. It's not a health office and it's not a municipal. It's a provincial ruling. So until they stick to that, I am not sure what else we can do. This is where we are right now. And I know we've been compared to the Ottawa arenas. I had someone that was at, and I'm not going to name the arena, but that same arena was visited yesterday and today again. There's no one at the door. There's about 180 people inside, but because there's no one checking, I don't think this is where we want to go with our facilities. I know it sounds very strict. So what we've done when we found out in September, what we did is we recommended to our minor sports associations, if you want to keep having a parent accompanying a child, what we recommend you is to have one parent accompanying the child, because if you have a visiting team, 35 is very, you will reach that very fast. If you allow 3-4 people from the same family to come in, at one point, the security guard at the door will stop people because we will have reached the 35 visitors, spectators, if you want. So this is where we are right now. So I'm not sure what else I can add on this. I know it's not like I said, a popular decision, but we're under ruling here. So and in Embrun, it's a bigger number because, like I've mentioned, we can use the bleachers on both sides. But in Embrun, of course, we can't take the whole dimension again because there's a section between both benches that we cannot put in the calculation because people will go by you and we can't allow that under the distancing. So that's where in Embrun it's 50 people. But it could have been higher, but because of those situations that I just mentioned, we have to leave it at 50.
Okay, merci beaucoup, Madame Guitard. And this was all confirmed with the health unit, correct?
It was just confirmed, and the seating, the designated seating, I just confirmed that a few minutes ago with the health office, and this is what he said. It's when you have separate seats, this is what is considered designated seating.
Okay, parfait. Conseiller Lorrain?
Yeah, so just for clarification purposes and so everyone understands, essentially we are allowing at minimum one parent per child that's on the ice. If you're having competitive teams play, you usually got 15 skaters and 2 goalies, 17 players on each side. That's 34. Essentially, we're allowing 35 in Russell, 50 in Embrun, so there is a little bit of leeway there in Embrun. But in terms of Russell, it would be one parent or one person with each skater that's allowed in the spectator area, not including coaches, not including bench staff, and not including players on the ice and officials. And that is based on the 50% capacity allowance by the province for indoor facilities, and us meeting the 6 feet rule in our facilities, which drops it from a capacity, if a capacity is 160 people, down to 80, down to 25, which we're increasing to 35 for standing room, essentially in front of the glass. So it's not a municipal rule that this council is putting in place or the township been putting in place. We are simply doing the math on the rules and regulations the province has set out. Is that accurate?
Madame Guitard?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. That is exactly right.
Okay, merci beaucoup. Perhaps from an enforcement perspective, Madame Bourdeau, do you have anything to add for this? I mean, there are regulations, obviously, and we're following them, but I'm sure there's people watching. And I understand the concept that we're saying, obviously, 6 feet around the individual, but Madame Guitard, correct me if I'm wrong. If I go with my wife, obviously, we're sitting together, it's 6 feet all around. But how do you enforce that? How do you track that? We're not going to start, asking for addresses to find out if it's the same person is sitting in the same family. We've already seen it in the last week with the rules that people are trying to find every single possible loophole to get themselves into the arena. So obviously it's a tough situation all around. But we are following the guidelines and the rules put in place by the province and the health unit. Madame Bourdeau, do you know what those rules are? Or, if somebody wants to try and find those regulations, which ones we could point them in which direction?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Sorry, my camera doesn't work, but Reopening Ontario Act 2020, so Ontario Regulation 364-20. It's rules for areas at step 3 and at the roadmap exit step. So if you look at section 16, It deals with sports and arenas, and it'll give you all the information that Madame Guittard just gave you.
Okay, thank you very much, Madame Bourdeau. And I think we have to keep in mind as well is that, yes, different people reading the same regulation might interpret it differently, but at the end of the day, it's how does the health unit determine or interpret it, because they're the ones we have to follow. I'm not sure at this point in time, Conseiller Lorrain, you brought up this subject. I'm not sure if there's anything else you'd like to add to this. Councillor.
Well, sorry, yeah, no, sorry. I guess one last thing since you asked, I just had to find my button here. You know, I mean, it doesn't, to be honest, it doesn't, at this point, it doesn't matter whether we agree with it or not, or whether we like it or not. I mean, we have to follow the guidelines and rules that are set in place. And, you know, do I like it? No. I mean, I'm in the arenas 3-4 times a week now, and we're under the same restrictions. I would love to have everyone out to watch their kids play, grandparents, siblings, and whatnot. I think it's important to have them there. But in terms of, you know, what do we want? What do we want more? Do we want the kids playing, or do we want to have everyone watching? And I think we want the kids playing. And if there's nothing that we can do from a municipality perspective, and we're following all the guidelines of the province, I mean, at this point, I see that all I see that our hands are tied. I don't like it. I wish we could change it. I wish we could allow some more people in. I'm hoping that with the HEO and the OW rules, so pretty much boys and girls hockey rules that are changing by November the 8th, November 1st for the girls hockey and November 8th for the boys, that everyone has to be fully vaccinated, players, coaches, spectators, everyone has to be fully vaccinated to get into the arenas, that there may be some relaxing of the distancing. But until the distancing portion is removed from those guidelines, I don't know if there's anything else that we can do. I mean, unless there's exemption requests that we can put in, I don't know if that's even possible to the 6 meter rule. But that's the only thing that I can think of at this point.
So I think from a municipal perspective, the power that council has is, council could probably ask the direction to prepare a resolution for our next council meeting that we could pass and send off to the health unit and the province, indicating based on, increased vaccination, based on the rules that everybody has to be vaccinated in areas, can we soften the 2 meter rule in order to allow parents to watch their kids? I think that's about the limit or the extent of the power we have. If council is okay with that, we can give the direction to Madame Guittard to work on something. We can word it in a certain way to bring it to the next council meeting. That way we can just pass that resolution, forward it off to the health unit of the province, and hopefully other municipalities do it to try and help as well. Councillor Tarnowski, you had a question? Comment?
That's more of a comment, Mr. Mayor. I would like to see if given our, the resolution or the discussion that we've had here, that perhaps as kind of the spokesman, you can address this, whether it's on Facebook or respond to that on behalf of council. I think that would be a good kind of direct answer to make sure that we're all that we all agree that we're on the same page.
Yeah, I think I can work with Madame Guittard over the next few days, maybe put out a press statement or some kind of statement just stating these are the rules. As much as we disagree with them, our hands are tied, but if council is in agreement, we'll send off a resolution at our next council meeting to try and change those conditions. Is that acceptable to council members to bring it back a resolution in a few weeks? I see thumbs ups, head shaking, so Madame Guittard, on va travailler sur quelque chose qu'on peut se présenter au prochain conseil pour essayer de pousser le health unit puis la province dans une direction. I don't know, honestly, I don't think it'll have any effect, but we'll try. That's what we're here for. Conseiller Brisson?
Just one comment and one question. My comment is just that we have to remember that last year the kids were not even able to play. So personally, I feel that we're lucky that the kids can play, and so that we have to respect, and especially with the numbers that are raising with COVID, that we have to be prudent. So I think for that part, the parent have to understand. I understand the frustration, but just look, it's a lot better than last year, and hopefully it will be better next year. My question is just that now with the question from the public, it was from Joey Abram that was sent. He was stating that there was a post at the arena in Russell that the maximum was 25 instead of 35, 24 instead of the number 35 that Mrs. did mention. Just clarification on this.
Okay, Madam Guittard, you did mention that it was 25 and that we were allowing an extra 10 standing room, but maybe the sign will have to be adjusted.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will confirm that tomorrow with the staff. But the confirmation that I had today was, yes, it was supposed to be 25, but we upped it to 35. So I will check that number again.
Yeah, with the support of the health unit for bumping it up. It wasn't that we said, oh, okay, we're just going to do it. Yeah. We confirmed with the health unit that they accepted the 35.
And we had confirmed this also with the minor sports associations, like I mentioned, and we had made a recommendation to them how to maybe work this out, and they all agreed. So they agreed to have one parent per child.
Right. So, sometimes communication gets lost. The information is not necessarily passed through, we pass it to the organization. Did the organization pass it to the parents? We don't know that. But this is information. So we'll work on a press release, and we'll work on a resolution to bring back to council at the next meeting. Any other questions or comments? No? Okay, perfect. We will move on to the next item. Public consultations and hearings, we have none. Item 20, closed session, we have none. Item 21, confirming bylaw. That bylaw 2021-095,
Mr. Mayor.
095 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Russell at its regular council meeting held on October 4, 2021. Be read a first, second, and third time and passed. I need a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Tarnowski, seconded by Conseiller Brisson. Call for the vote. All those in favor?
Mike Tarnowski, yes.
André, oui.
Jamie, yes.
Cindy Sosa, yes.
Thank you very much, everyone. And just one last comment in regards to the hockey. I know it's difficult, but we have to remember we are still in a pandemic. And when I look at the health unit, Russell Township in Prescott Russell was the third highest amount of cases, and we still have active cases in the township. So as much as we would love to act like this pandemic is over and get back to normal, we're not quite there yet. We'll get there, but we still have to take preventative measures. Conseiller Laurent?
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, Mr. Mayor. I think the only thing that from what I'm hearing from the residents and the hockey community or the winter sport community, because that includes figure skating and broomball and whatnot, they all get lumped together, is the fact that we're only how do I put that now? The fact that we're requiring, based on the provincial rules, that everyone entering be fully vaxxed. So we're talking about a facility that's fully vaccinated versus in the past where people were not vaccinated, right? And they were coming in, and yes, we're still in a pandemic, but I think the province is doing everything to exclude anyone who's not vaccinated in the facilities. And I think that's why there's that concern that there can't be more spectators, because everybody is vaccinated that is going into the building. So I think that's where the the concern is, and that's where even the frustration is. I can hear it in the words that are coming out from Mr. Abrams, from the posts that I'm seeing on Facebook, from the people I'm speaking to at the arenas. So I get it. I mean, I share a lot of what they're saying. And if there is something that we can do about it by passing a resolution and bringing it to the province, bringing it to the Eastern Ontario Health Unit to see if there's a way for us to, based on the comments and based now as of November the 8th, every single participant 12 and over, so who could be vaccinated, has to be vaccinated to be participating in the sport. I think that changes things just a little bit for our indoor facilities. And I'm hoping the province and the health unit realize that and make the decisions to allow maybe even, double the capacity that we currently allow for two parents to watch their kids play. So that's just where I am.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I think it is a tough situation, right? Because most people are doing their due diligence to get vaccinated, and we're still punishing those who are getting vaccinated in our facilities. And again, our hands are tied on this. Madame Guiton?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. And if I can add to this frustration, we have brand new equipment at the bowling hall, which we cannot even use. The bowling hall has been closed for over a year. We still can't open because of that 6 feet distancing. And I hear Councillor Lorrain when he says that. It's the same thing for our halls. We can't have regular events because of the distancing again. So a lot of our main events have been canceled. It was canceled because of the distancing. It was canceled because of the vaccination. So it's still not a normal world in recreation, unfortunately. So hoping that it changes soon. But like Mr. Mayor said, we're still in a pandemic and we're still seeing numbers going up. So we still have to, I think, to learn from what we've went through in the last months.
Thank you very much, Madame Guiton. All right, our next special public meeting of council will be held on October 18th, 2021, and the next regular public meeting of council will be held on the same night, October 18th, 2021. We are adjourned at 7:27 p.m. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Have a good night.